What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Strength Solutions Podcast. We're on Apple and Spotify. You can rate and review us. Check us out on YouTube. Leave a comment down below. Like, subscribe, and tell us how amazing my hair looks today.
Yeah, 2026 hair.
Then our website is strengthsolutionspodcast.com. We have free blogs, guides, programs for purchase. If you want to sign up for a free assessment or go to our free events, it is completely on there. strengthsolutionspodcast@gmail.com if you want to email us future fitness questions. Then Strength Solutions Podcast for Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. That's also where we post our events. I'm Strength Solutions Edwin.
I'm Strength Solutions Nathaniel.
Okay, it's the beginning of the year, right?
Oh, man.
And it's our first podcast. We've been off for a couple weeks.
Yeah. Feels good.
And, a lot of people make mistakes at the beginning of the year. And
womp.
it's common.
Yeah, very.
You'll see people do really well and they get sick. Or they do really well and they stop.
See everybody in my neighborhood running around super early and going for walks and stuff.
It's that time of year.
Never seen more people in my neighborhood.
The weather's actually better here in Texas.
It's like pretty nice to get things going now.
Not 100.
Yeah, that's fair.
100.
Really humid, but like whatever.
Okay. So today what I really want to talk about is things that people do when getting back that ruins your routine. And a lot of us have been out for a whole month of December or 2 weeks in December.
Yeah, for real.
And this is even when maybe you go to a trip to Europe or you just can't make it 2 weeks or you're coming back from a surgery. Mm-hmm. These are just common mistakes and where you should really head to when coming back into your fitness routine.
Yeah.
And the first thing is find out what's that first most important goal. Probably shocked you there, right? You didn't think I was going to go there.
No, that's a good one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I shocked this guy.
Fucking
got the
flabbergasted.
AED on him. So the reason this is important is you're not going to do the same goal all year. So I think a lot of times what people do is they set this fat loss goal at the beginning of the year, and then they try to keep it all year.
Yeah.
So you might have a fat loss goal, maybe then you have a maintenance goal, and then you have a muscle gain goal. And you could change or just be athletic goal. Like the beginning for me is a little bit of becoming more athletic and to control maintenance weight. Yeah. Right. And that's like my goal for the beginning of the year. What's yours?
So right now, like
to suck it.
Yeah. I was just stop sucking it. Until like March, my goal is to drop a little bit of weight. But I'm primarily focusing on like fixing any back pain that I've had.
Oh, you've had back pain?
A little bit, yeah, for like a while. And for the most part, I'm just like training through it and it's been whatever. But as of late, it kind of affected me a little bit more. The one thing that just happened recently is that I went to a trampoline park with my daughter. We were having fun and doing stuff and like jumping around on trampolines, dude. Man, I could feel it. And I was like, this moment right now is what's like pissing me off. Cause I was like, I can't have fun with my kid. And that's like enough for me to be like, all right, I gotta stop like pretending like it's okay and just take it serious. So
I turned 40, so athletic is
yeah. I'm turning 30 this year. So, a 30 is the new 60, bro.
30 is the new 60. I think orange is the new black.
Yeah. It's all that new stuff.
All right. And then the thing people do too is they go from 0 to 100. So I literally was off at the end of the year. And then the week before I didn't really work out really heavy. And then I had my first workout this past Sunday.
Oh yeah.
And
nice.
I was with Amanda and I was like, do not go heavy.
Yeah.
Like I had to like tell myself before, then I told her not to do it.
Yeah.
Even though she wanted to keep up with me. I was like, look, my heavy is different than your heavy.
Yeah. My heavy is super heavy for you, right? Yeah.
And we both did a good job of actually doing that. And we were a little sore on Monday. Yeah. And then on Tuesday, it was a little bit there and it's gone on Wednesday. I was like, that meant we did a perfect workout.
Right. Yeah.
So think about like not being sore all day.
Yeah. That's the main thing. I think, like I just had a new client come in yesterday and we were talking about a lot of stuff and, going through their life and, difficulties that they had and their goals and stuff like that. And so, their goal was, it was like weight loss, right? But as we're going through it, I like stopped us at one point and I was like, all right, I don't even want to try and lose weight for the next like 4 months. I was like, you need to go to sleep. Like that's your homework right now. Like, we'll work out and do stuff here, but like I need you getting more than 4 hours sleep every night. Like that's insane. We're not going to get anywhere, without that.
Yeah. Cause actually that's probably perfect because without sleep, that person has messed up hunger signals.
Yeah.
So that leads to overeating. 2, they're never going to recover from their workouts.
Mm-hmm.
3, because of that, their hormones are thrown off, right?
Yeah, so and they already had,
they're going to optimize.
They had like a very stressful job. It sounds like they have a lot of responsibilities and things like that. And I was kind of drawing a picture, and I was like, I don't really know which one comes first. Like, I don't know if we need to take care of your anxiety so you can go to sleep, or if we need to sleep so you can take care of your anxiety. But we need to do one of these. And I was like, right now, I think we can take care of sleep. And no matter what, that's going to feed into the rest of them. Mm-hmm. Like, you're going to make better decisions. You'll not make, like you said, bad hunger choices. Your habits and behaviors will be better. You'll be able to just, and I was like, you just need to go to bed. Mm-hmm. But that's step one. You know, It wasn't even work out or start eating this many calories or like, here's your macros. Cause I was like, even if I do that stuff, number one, it's probably not going to work. And 2, it's probably just going to stress you out more.
Yeah. And then people go from like 6 days or 0 days to 6 days.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's a big one. And it's just like, just go to 2 to 3, walk the other days, just enjoy your other days, do yoga one day or whatever at home, something that is, you're able to do it. So I had a client the other day who was like, I'm literally going to just do 10 minutes of stretching every day.
There you go.
While watching TV. And I was like, that's a good goal because it's not something that's so complicated. You could do it while watching TV. I made this goal myself because Amanda goes to work out at night. So I'm like, every time she goes to work out, I'm going to do 10 minutes of stretching.
I'm going to smoke a pack of cigarettes. That's a good idea. Yeah. Cause it's like,
pack of cigarettes. Yeah.
It's like non-interfering with your life. You know, you still get to like do whatever, like you said, watching TV or things like that. Like, I think that's another thing too. I don't know if we're going to go through that, but trying to find a way to integrate it into what's already happening in your life, and not trying to like create this whole new idea or routine of what your life looks like. You know?
Yeah. And since you ruined it already, let's go ahead and like, how do you integrate it into your life? Right.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
I don't
know. Remember, in the past, I've done where like I integrated walking with being with my partner with, after dinner. And then we have 10 minutes to socialize. So we're integrating like being able to talk about what needs to get done. Mm-hmm. We're physically moving, and you can even take the whole family if you want to take the kids and stuff like that. 10, 15 minutes after a meal, that adds extra steps, especially when people don't walk at all today.
Oh yeah.
So that's a great way to integrate it. You can integrate it by parking further in the parking lot. How many times do you see people waiting in the front? I never do it. I just go all the way back.
The first parking spot that's open to me, I take.
No, I try
way in the back.
I go. Usually, I purposely go further back, even if I see, because I know there's people who are actually really handicapped who can't really walk, and those are the people that we should be thinking about others in society, and that's a great way for you to walk more because you're not going and moving. Also, if you're a person who works from home and you need a separate space, that's another way to integrate it, is to get a gym that's close by, right? Or get coaching, even if you have to work out from home, so that you have somebody to talk to through the process. It doesn't have to be every day. It could be like, hey, maybe we meet once a month and we talk about something.
Yeah. I don't know if this is like the correct term, but kind of thinking about what you said of like sort of, I'm walking, but I'm going to incorporate talking to my partner and spending time with them and stuff, like habit stacking, like putting things together that can go together, right? Like, don't try and do a bunch of stuff that's like totally separate, but trying to figure out how to do those. Like if you are someone that works out and maybe your partner wants to start working out, okay, integrate that workout together on like your rest day, right? Or so that whenever they're still learning, right, you're not like, oh, this is getting in the way of my workout. Like, and then you guys get to be together and do all that stuff, and you get to support them and stuff. So trying to figure out and just sitting down, like, same conversation that I had with that client the other day. I told her, I was like, you need to sit down and like figure out what this looks like for you. I don't really know what that looks like for you. I don't know a whole bunch about your life or things like that, but you need to go home and just kind of think, like, how can I actually make this work? What's going to be consistent? What are things that I can do that are easy, And I think that's, number one is that it has to be easy, has to be accessible. It has to be something that you can do. Everything takes some effort, but the lowest amount of effort that it can take, right? So that you're not super overwhelmed trying to figure out.
And this holds for nutrition as well, right? If you're used to having dessert every day, instead of saying I'm going to have 0 dessert, maybe you'll have 3 days dessert, 4 days not, right? Yeah. And you're already cutting a bunch of calories. You're going to drop weight. And I would argue it's easier for your body to adapt downward like that a little bit better. and not have this big rebound back because your body's fighting you so hard. You don't want your body to fight you so hard. And same thing holds true. And I think the last mistake is people do focus so much on weight loss versus the quality of weight loss. And so that means to focus on muscle building itself so that you don't lose a lot of muscle. And I think that's a big issue overall is people focus on, let me just get this scale weight from here to here versus let me get this quality tissue that I have higher and the poor quality tissue to go lower.
One of my friends just sent me a video the other day on Instagram, and it was this girl, and she's talking about how when women want to lose weight, their first thing is to cut calories, right? That's the number one thing they do. And sure, that always works for a time, but then over like a, whatever period that they're doing it, it either slows down or they're still like looking the same, even though that their, weight on the scale has dropped. And I kind of cut to the guy whose account it was or whatever. And he was talking about the fact that like muscle, right, increases your metabolism, changes your body composition, allows you to lose fat, right? And so I think that's the one thing too, is that, like you said, focusing on the quality of the weight loss and maintaining as much muscle as possible through the weight loss and not just going, all right, I'm cutting out all carbs or whatever, you decide to do. And then you're wondering why you don't look any different.
Yeah. And this leads me to this, like everybody's been talking to a topic about GLP-1s. You'll get like both super extremes about semaglutide.
Oh yeah.
Even though there's a new drug that's going to come out probably 3 years from now that is crazy because it keeps muscle. I'm not going to talk about that.
I'm investing.
Probably should. And this semaglutide, it's not bad nor good, right? And there's a study that we did. We're going to talk about it a little bit more. But what I really want people to focus on is you'll see people talk about these side effects, right? Or they gained a lot of weight back. And what people forget is everything in society is a tool, whether it's a statin is a tool, right? Insulin is a tool, right? Everything's a tool. How do I use a tool and how do I change my habits is what we really need to talk about. And so if I had somebody who was like totally against semaglutide, I'm like, okay, but then how are we going to get you over this hump? And then we would have to come up with tools that would benefit. Now, if you want to use semaglutide to make it a little easier, how are you to use semaglutide so that you become better? And what happens is a lot of people use the semaglutide, but they don't change the way they eat. They're just eating less. So therefore you lose more muscle. Your metabolism gets shot down because you are losing muscle because muscle is expensive tissue. And then when you go off of it, you gain weight back. The side effects, because sometimes the dosage makes the poison. And I would argue to people like, yes, Ozempic gives you at these doses. It's probably better if maybe you had a smaller dose for this person or a higher dose for this person. Because even in medicine, any medicine we take is very independent variable, right? Like it depends who you are.
Everybody's body is affected differently and stuff. I was talking to a client about it the other day. She's younger, but she just had questions. And I was telling her, some of my clients that take it, they'll take it at the beginning of the week, whatever. And for them, it lasts 2 weeks. And so they're smart enough and they're like, I'm just going to take it until I don't feel like it's working anymore. And then I'll do another dose. And I'm like, perfect. Do it like that. You don't necessarily have to be doing it, taking it every week or upping the dose every 4 weeks or whatever, because then, like you said, the dosage makes the poison. Or you get to a point where you're already taking the maximum dose and, you're overriding it because you're still eating a certain way or it's just not working anymore. And then it's like, okay, I don't know, what do we do from here? Now you take it 3 times a week, and it's, to me, I often think to myself, what's the end goal here? What are we really trying to get to and how do we do this in like a healthy way?
Yeah. And you can split doses. There's people who split just like you do with testosterone, you can split doses.
I don't know why it's not, whatever.
Why it's not what?
Like, I think we talked about it maybe on a previous podcast or in person where this medication that, does mess with your hormones. It's not necessarily a hormone, but it messes with hormones, right? That affect your hunger signals and when you're satiated and not. But we just give these people like this pre-made, like meal plan, right? So to speak, where it's like, all right, you do 4 weeks of this, you do 4 weeks of that, then you go up and then you go up and everybody's doing the same thing, right? But whenever you want estrogen, or when you're going through menopause, or someone needs their T levels done, it's like this months long process of like trying to figure out your right dosage and how much should you be taking and how much per week. And okay, let's do blood work again and blah, blah. But like, we don't do it with this.
It's because there's no money in what actually matters, which is coaching.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess that's what I'm saying, right? These people need to be coached. But it sucks because then as personal trainers or coaches, right, I don't really get access to that information besides through my client, but it's like, I can't tell my client, hey, go get blood work. Well, I guess I could, but then they have to pay for it, right? I can't write a prescription for this stuff, like as in a way a doctor can. And then it's difficult to speak to their doctors about it because, personal trainer, right? You don't really have a lot of credibility in that world of like health and stuff like that. So
there's times like I've helped a lot of people with injuries. I still don't get credibility.
I know. That. Yeah. And it just sucks, right? Not even in the fact where I'm like, I want more respect. It's just like, I just want to help these fucking people and I can't, Yeah.
No, a lot of times it's just like that. With GLP-1s, really get a coach. I think that's someone who's actually consistently talked to you. I think that's a big part of it. And slow down, know what your body really feels like, what you really need. Understand it's not just about the weight loss. And if you're losing too fast, that's probably a sign that you should really get coached.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think overall, if you have any goals this year, just do them slow. You got a whole year.
Slow down a little bit.
Take your time, man.
You may have 2 years.
Smell the roses,
Yeah, I'm on that 5-year plan.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. They released a new food pyramid recently.
Oh, I just saw that.
What do you think?
It's upside down.
That's all they did.
Yeah. Okay. So like in all honesty, looking at it, I was like, okay, I don't really see anything new, like it wasn't like they revolutionized the food pyramid or something like that. I honestly do think that turning it upside down actually does have like a visual effect of seeing it and being like, at the top, there's this big amount of these other things. And it kind of gives a visual of like, oh, I should have a big amount of these things, right? And smaller at the bottom. Whereas with the other one, it's literally the same shape. But it's silly, but I do think that it has like a slight effect.
It has a slight effect. And it focuses a little bit more on whole foods and processed foods at the bottom, right?
Yes.
And grains and stuff like that. So it does a good job of that. At the end of the day, it's not going to change anything. Because what's going to change something is people learning behaviors.
Yeah, right? I guess that's like something I thought when I was looking
coaching
at it.
Against doesn't get money funded.
Yeah. Where like I saw it and I was like, okay, cool. And I thought to myself, I was like, when is the food pyramid like a viable thing? And I'm like, okay, I remember seeing it when I was in school, like in elementary school.
Okay, it's not even completely viable. Let's just take an independent variable. You can't have dairy, right?
Yeah.
I can't have corn. So how's the food pyramid going to help me?
I don't know. Yeah.
Like, this is where like understanding, yes, you need this much protein. You should speak mostly whole foods. There should be general guidelines, but you need a little coaching.
Yeah. Because I have a client who can't eat meat. And so I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, that's going to affect him, looking at this stuff. And I know we can't have a food pyramid for everybody and all this crap, but it's like, I don't know.
I think you don't need a pyramid. I think we just need to talk about mostly whole foods.
I think we don't need a food pyramid.
Right. Eat mostly whole foods. Try to figure out what really digestible for your body from an individual level.
Sure.
And then make sure you get enough protein. Like those are like the 3 things. And then from there, you can decide your carbs and fats.
Yeah.
From there, you can decide how many calories you need. Right. And then like get coaching, I think at the end of the day. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, this new food pyramid could revolutionize the world.
Yeah, the food pyramid should just be a picture of me and you.
No, I just think like coaching is probably the most valuable thing.
I think it is. And hopefully, I don't know, at some point it'll become more sought after. And it's funny.
But actually like quality coaching, not just like telling you what to do, but being able like to go to a coach and be like, okay, I'm going to take responsibility and not just put it on you as a person and be like, what are you telling me? Let me try to follow these things. And
that's like, with this previous client, I kind of approached it slightly different where I was like, you need to figure this out. Like I'm a guide. You can talk to me about this stuff and I'll help you figure out what, if you're stuck on something, but at the end of the day, like, this is your life and I cannot figure it out for you. Like, I don't know what your stress levels are like. I don't know how you're going to get better sleep. I can give you advice or tips, but at the end of the day, you need to figure this out, And I think that that's like, I want to be a coach, right? Not your, I don't know, whatever, like the person that does it for you, right? Because no matter what, that doesn't work, Yeah. I could tell them exactly what to do, but they work 12-hour shifts, they sleep 3 hours a night. They got this going on, that going on. Like, who gives a shit about my advice? You got to figure it out. Right? Yeah.
Just like when you go to therapy, you got to kind of figure it out yourself.
So it's funny because we had a conversation about that because she was talking about how stressed she was. And I was like, I'm just asking you. I was like, do you see a therapist? Do you talk to anybody? Do you take medication? And she was like, well, I have seen therapists in the past. And oftentimes, like, they just tell me, oh, you ever think about getting a new job or something like that? And she's like, I've been doing this job for 30 years. Like, I'm not going to go get a new job. And I was like, yeah, I don't expect you to. What they should be doing is helping you figure out how to like cope with what your current situation.
Manage and cope.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, okay, what can we control about this and what can't we, right? What are things that we just have to accept? What are things that we can work with? But I was like, yeah, I can understand how that's frustrating when you go somewhere and you're like, hey, I'm stressed out about my job, but I love it. And I've been doing it for 30 years. And they're like, well, can you get a new one? And it's like, no, dude, like, I got a fucking house and a family. Like, I'm like, that's really stupid. Sorry. But then I was like, okay, well, if you don't really feel like talking to somebody, then like we were saying earlier, then you need to figure out what needs to be done and I'm also, again, I know this is sometimes people disagree with me on it, but I'm like, I told her, I was like, you know what needs to be fixed. I don't know if you know right now, but like, you can go home and sit down and think about it. And I'm like, I know that you think to yourself every day, like, oh, I need to stop doing this one thing, but I keep doing it anyway, and I'm like, go figure it out and then come back and talk to me.
I think that's a big part of it. And I think this is the year that we need to stop following people in social media just for their genetics.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was listening to Brett Contreras. I really liked him. He does really good stuff. And he was talking about like, I've helped certain women get this glute or that glute. He's like, a lot of it's genetics. They're just going to get that glute a lot better than this woman. And she could work 10 times as hard and not get that.
Yeah.
And genetics plays a role. Also, if you have a hip dip, you're just going to have a hip dip.
Right.
In your shoulders, you got wide shoulders naturally. It's going to look a lot more natural. It's just, we need to stop following these people, genetic freaks. Also, we need to stop following people whose life is just social media and not helping actual people.
Yeah.
Helping actual people really makes a huge difference because when your life is social media, you have so much time to just market, create videos all day. And we need
this like perfect life.
There's a guy who's like, oh, these are the top 5 worst coaches. And there's like a coach on there. I've heard him speak in a podcast, but the reason he was on his list was because he's doing everything for viral content. And I agree because I stopped watching his stuff because I was like, who am I ever going to get to do this?
I'm trying to think about who it is.
I'll tell you off there. But I'm just like, I'm never going to get anybody to do this. This is not really applicable to anybody I have.
Yeah.
And it just looks cool for social media. And then there's another coach on there that we bashed a lot in the past.
Oh, okay.
that one, I was like, okay, I get it. He's been doing things for viral. He even called another trainer out because this guy had an Achilles injury. And you got fascia guys that are like, the reason Christian McCaffrey keeps on getting hurt is because of this and that. I'm like, you can't do one exercise and correlate it to an athlete getting injured. It does not work like that.
And it's also, so someone was showing me the other day of like a video from an influencer person that she follows, who I guess does like workouts for older people is kind of what I was getting the vibe from. And he was showing a video where like he was doing burpees or something like that. And he works out with his parents. So his videos have his parents in them who are older. And so they're all doing burpees, right? And he's like, I understand this is kind of advanced for people. Like here's, 5 different variations for beginners, to like do this stuff. Dude, those exercises were not for beginners. Like I was like, he probably thinks they're for beginners because his parents can do them. But it also looks like he's been working out with his parents for who knows how long. And I was like, I have clients right now who I've been working out with for a long time. And I'm like, there's no way I could get them to do that. And so I think
his parents are probably dedicated to it.
Yeah, they look like they were in really good shape. They look like they probably always have been in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's one of those things too, where even if you're looking at stuff and someone's saying, oh, this is great for beginners, 50 and above, like you got to think about yourself, and hey, am I actually able to do that? Is this person actually like making content for beginners, or is this their like concept of what that is? Because she showed it to me and I was like, I don't think that you should be doing that. Like this is your first time ever working out. Like these are pretty dynamic movements, and yeah, they're low impact and there's no weight and stuff, but it's like, yeah, I could see you like hurting yourself doing this.
Yeah. And I think when you get to a point of social media too, like, and I think people are starting to head that way, getting off of it, finding people who are just for educational content, not falling for the clickbait stuff.
Yeah.
And really get to the point where like you start calming your central nervous system. I think that's what people need right now, is to calm the central nervous system. A lot of people have anxiety because they're seeing all these bad things over and over, and they don't realize us as animals and humans, we crave the bad thing because it's supposed to protect us by knowing it. But at this point, it's knowing too much information that you can't control.
Yeah. One of my clients, we were talking the other day about like relationships and stuff. And he was telling me like, I always feel like I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop, was kind of like his sentiment. And I was like, yeah, I think that comes from, probably whatever you've experienced in the past, but also I think we just live in this like high anxiety environment right now. And so we're always just waiting for that. And it starts to like kind of bleed in and affect and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, new clients I talk to, or just people, friends and stuff, like, man, we're all just like on fire, and it's like, chill out.
During the break, I went to Universal Studios.
Yeah. How was it?
And so,
what is Universal Studios?
They were like for TV and stuff like
that. It's like
a
movie theme park.
No, it's just an amusement park, right? Just like a regular one. But because they had Jurassic World, they had like Despicable Me and things like that, right? So they can use those characters for their amusement park and stuff like that. But this is the first time I did the Fast Pass.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm sitting there in line, and 10 minutes goes by, I'm already on the ride.
Whoa.
People were like, wait, 90 minutes, 2 hours for certain rides. And it really made me think, like, this is where people don't understand. We really don't have the same 24 hours in a day. And they're like, you just got to work hard to get there. And then there are people who, what happened, get out and then lose empathy for how hard it was for them to get out. And then they make a lot of money, and then they don't realize that things exponentially got easier for them because they still think in their head they're working hard. Yes, they're working hard, but they have less duties of responsibilities, less struggles of mental health because they can pay for things.
They have more free space.
More free space to do things, right? And they're like, look what I'm doing, and blah, blah, blah. And it made me really think about this because I was getting on a ride. I didn't have to wait in line and just sit there. And it wasn't because I didn't purchase it. So I was given it, right?
But you got to experience
it. And it made me really think, like, these are the inequities that we have that people don't see. And we've been so isolated in our little bubbles that I don't think sometimes I think people don't realize, like, America does have a third world part to it, right?
Oh yeah.
Like in certain cities, certain parts
down
of town.
the street, bro. Like,
but because you never visit and you're like, I heard this country's third world, it really doesn't take effect. And then you don't really see your advantages because you never go there.
Yeah.
You go to another country, but you never go to right across down the street.
Which is funny too, because I'm like, I think a lot of these people, well, maybe they don't even know, right? Which is even wilder of a thought. But a lot of these people do know, and they're like, oh, I don't go to that side of town. Like that's scary over there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so then you do know, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, these people are living on the street. They're
or houses that are all broken down,
dilapidated, and and it's like, even for me, like I think back to my childhood, and I'm like, I think my house was fucked up, man. Like, we had like animals crawling in and stuff, and I'm like, I don't think that's normal, and so it's crazy because it's like it's 10 miles from you, man. It's not across the world in some magical place, It's like
I have personally experienced it through my adulthood as where I was early in my career and what house I was in, what side of town I was in, how I was mentally struggling versus the mental struggles I have today versus what I had back then. Back then I was like, fuck, I don't even know if I'm going to make rent.
Yeah.
Right? Or I don't know if I'm going to make the car payment. My car broke down. How am I going to fix this?
Yeah.
And then like you have nothing, all that space you're using there, you can't focus on something good. Right. And so you're already a lot of like you're allotted so much more room and you're way ahead because you don't have to waste space on that. And
that's then like the hierarchy of needs, right?
Yeah. And like when people were talking about like these people are like self-made millionaires or billionaires, they're not self-made because a lot of people invested in them because their parents already had the money. Their parents already had connection, right? And it makes a huge difference. And we had a whole conversation about this. Like if our parents could afford it or whatever, it'd make this much easier.
It'd be crazy, yeah.
So there's different obstacles and we don't have these programs to support those things anymore. And that's the big issue is how am I going to get up? And I don't think people are upset because yes, housing is unaffordable and stuff. I think people are more upset. And I think this is where society's kind of collapse is more of when there doesn't seem to be a mobility to go upwards.
Yeah.
And based off of your hard work, based on things you can do, not because where you started. When there seems like there's no hope. I think as long as humans have hope, they're pretty calm. They do really well. And now there seems like there's no hope. And I think that's the big issue, right?
Definitely.
Before we go into studies, I do want to say we are hosting 2 events a month. So this month we have one this Saturday, which by the time this airs, it's not going to happen in the Christian seminar. And then on the 24th, we have a knee pain seminar, right? And people are like, well, what is this? I'm kind of interested in that one. The knee pain is going to show you quite a bit of stuff of like why typically it's not the knee.
Yeah, so we'll be going over knee pain can often be linked to other issues in the body, like around the hips and things. Solutions, benefits of squatting for your knees and how to choose the right footwear, etc. And just tips for maintaining healthy knee joints. Go to strengthsolutionspodcast.com. You can sign up on there. It's all free. So tell a friend, bring a family member, someone you know has got knee pain. I know they do.
Actually,
I see him walking around.
All right. So our first study is the weight loss option. This weight loss option beats Ozempic by 5 times. Real world data show weight loss surgery leaves GLP drugs far behind, delivering bigger, longer lasting results. Bariatric surgery outperformed GLP-1's weight loss drugs in a new world comparison with 50,000 patients.
Damn, it's a big study.
2 years after treatment and surgery, patients lost 58 pounds on average, while those using semaglutide tirzepatide lost roughly 12 pounds. Even patients who stayed on GLP-1 drugs for a year saw much smaller results than surgical patients. High dropout rates, real-world challenges appear to be blunt and drug effectiveness. I got so much to say on this study.
Yeah. Go. I want to hear it.
All right. So first of all, what happens is they're not using GLP-1s and they're gaining weight back, right? So that skews the numbers alone. 2, this is based off of weight loss, not quality of tissue.
Okay. That's a good point too.
Third thing is I like how they use 2 years because typically 2 years is when your bariatric surgery stops working.
Yeah.
Right? We've done the study in the past, right?
That's true.
And 2 years is about the moment is when it stops working. Obviously, you can tell who paid for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because they're probably freaking out about the GLP-1s.
Now, the GLP-1s are a tool. Bariatric surgery is a tool. Now, I prefer, personally, to do a GLP-1 because I'm not manipulating part of my body.
It's an anatomical surgery.
It's not an anatomical thing, right? I'm not anatomically changing anything. And a lot of times you'll see people like, they'll start here and then they'll stretch right back.
It'll expand, yeah.
So I've known someone who's done the lap band, literally had to get it redone.
Yeah.
Get it redone. And it helps. And then they blow right back up because you're still not dealing with the issue.
Yeah. I think the thing is that both of these, right, regardless of how long they last, et cetera, whatever, is that they both are able to be like overridden, you know, for lack of a better word, like you said.
Isn't it crazy that humans can override these?
Yeah. Like literally you can go in there and shrink the size of your stomach and you can just make it go back to the size it was before. Or the same thing with GLP-1s, right? Like you can just get off them and you go right back to normal. like you said, I think the thing is that with both of these, while maybe one of them is slightly more permanent than the other or whatever, is that they're band-aids. You know, they're band-aids on an issue that isn't being addressed. And how you do that, you know, I know a lot of people, like there's this one doctor that we follow who like he's in the like obesity is a disease camp, and you know, the same thing with like I kind of compare it to like alcoholism, where it's like a lot of people think where it's like, oh, just stop drinking, and it's like, no, dude, like something has changed in their body, like it's different now.
I mean, it's even shown that like it kind of leads to gambling addicts, right?
Yeah,
and GLP-1s help gambling addicts get off gambling.
And it's like I think it's again coaching, right? Coaching for a long time, right? Combination of that with, I don't know, whatever, therapy or however you deal with that mental aspect of it. But these things we need to stop putting band-aids on it and really start trying to address root causes and issues of these things, because until that's done, you can take all the GLPs you want. You know, if someone gets lap band surgery, but they have a food relationship or eating disorder because of something that happened to them in their childhood or whatever, if that's never addressed, they're just going to continue doing whatever, you know, because no habit has changed. They haven't addressed this like a traumatic event that has altered their brain chemistry. Like, I don't understand why these things aren't being used in conjunction, you know, like, okay, I'm cool with both of these happening, but then this other aspect of why they're even doing this in the first place, or how they got to this very overweight, you know, space is like, that needs to be addressed, man, because no matter what, it's gonna fail. It's just gonna, you know, and I mean, maybe there's a one-off percentage of people that can manage it, but I'm gonna assume that's a very small percentage.
Yeah. All right. Study number 2. Scientists have tested intermittent fasting without eating less and found no metabolic benefit. Time-restricted eating has been widely promoted as a simple way to boost metabolic health, but new research paints a more complicated picture. When calorie intake stayed the same, an 8-hour eating window did not improve insulin sensitivity or cardiovascular markers. What did change in the body's internal clock, which shifted based on meal timing and altered sleep patterns? The results suggested calorie restriction, not the eating window itself, may be the real driver to health benefits.
Yeah. I think that's what we often say, like intermittent fasting is good for behavior and like kind of teaching yourself like you don't need to eat all day. But it's not necessarily a way to lose weight. Because I essentially intermittent fast, not by choice, but just kind of for function. And so it's like from 3 to 8, you know, is like when I eat, and I'm 220. I got no problem eating calories, man.
Yeah, you know? It's that easy in this world today.
Yeah, it really is. And it's like, so a lot of people will go for intermittent fasting. And again, I think it's okay if you're trying to just learn behaviorally. But I don't know if it's the number one sort of strategy in losing weight.
What I do think is the combination of caloric restriction and intermittent fasting, because there still needs to be study. The combination of the two, right, in moments could help out with your autophagy and like letting the body cellular regenerate better cells, and stuff like that. Because maybe I'm thinking historically we didn't have food all the time. Your body probably had to do that.
Yes, yeah, and that makes sense. Like, I mean, go look up research on the benefits of fasting. Right, there's a ton of it. We know, right? We know that this is a thing. I think when people use it for weight loss, I guess they think, well, I'm eating for a smaller period of time, I must be getting less calories. But like we said, it's super easy. Dude, you can eat 2,500 calories on a night out, easy. You know, on a single entree.
Go to
Cheesecake Factory, bro.
Oh no,
done. And it's like, I think what people, if you are going to try and use intermittent fasting for weight loss, you have to break it down like this. Like, okay, if I have 3 meals a day, then when I intermittent fast, I'm removing one of them, and you don't add that in the time that you're eating, right? You just leave it gone. And that's hard. I totally understand. But that's the only way that you're going to get that caloric restriction along with the intermittent fasting aspect.
All right, guys, if you like what we're doing, you can find us on Apple and Spotify. You can rate and review us. Check us out on YouTube. Leave a comment down below. Like, subscribe. Check us out. Website is strengthsolutionspodcast.com. We have free blogs, free guides, programs for purchase. You can check out our events and sign up there. Also, if you want to just sign up for a free assessment. Then email strengthsolutionspodcast@gmail.com. Emails feature fitness questions. Strength Solutions Podcast at TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm Strength Solutions Edwin.
I'm Strength Solutions Nathaniel.
Until next time, guys. Peace
Yeah.
out. The you.